Good morning, everybody. Looking forward to today's show. Going to start out without the hat today because it seems like a lot of the new audience members are actually surprised. I do have hair. Yes, I do have hair. I don't wear a hat to cover up my bald spot like so many people do. So let's do this. Let's get at it. We're going to do a recap of the DNC. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Kursk. We're going to talk about some other news. It's going to be good. Let's do this. Fill your cups. Let's make it happen. Good morning, everybody. Everything is good. Everything is great. Man, I tell you what, life is good. Put the hat on. John B. Stetson makes a good hat. I'm telling you, people. Yeah, man, I tell you what, I hope you folks were watching. I really hope you folks were watching the DNC. That was really, really something. You know, every election there's a goal. There's something that's just got to happen. The candidate has to make the transformation. And I will tell you, Kamala Harris's speech was exactly that. It was transformative. It was. Every candidate has to make the transformation from candidate to president, and they have to do it before our eyes. We have to see that happen. And last night, they nailed it. Her team, we're going to get into all of that. Before we do, I want to say thank you. I want to say, Josh and Tara, you guys are fantastic. You folks send me things all the time. I love, I love the trolls from Marcia. Thank you so much for the patch from it's just Amsterdam coffee house. I mean, it's just, I really appreciate everything you send me. Every once in a while, I get folks that send me coffee. I love the graphics on the box, by the way. This led to a funny story. You have to forgive. I may be looking a little tired today. Love the letter, by the way. It was a great letter. It was a great letter. But Josh and Tara, I just wanted to say thank you because they sent me a huge bag of Pete's coffee. And I got to tell you, if I do look tired, it's their fault. It is their I got a funny story for you. They did an amazing job of taping that box up. They did. And, you folks have my P.O. box. It's in town, and we're way out in the sticks. So we're coming home last night. Congratulations to my beautiful granddaughter. She got settled in her dorm yesterday. She is off to college. Yes, I'm feeling very old. But we're coming home, and we hit the P.O. box just to make sure, nothing gets delayed or anything like that. And we found this wonderful package. I mean, Josh, Tara, I don't know who taped this up, but you did an incredible job. You did. You did. So anyways, I give my wife my pocket knife. This is my pocket knife. I carry this thing everywhere. Super sharp as a scalpel. She's getting into this box. They get into it and poof, punches the top of the bag. So we're driving home. You know that feeling, that not feeling, but that smell when you open a fresh coffee container, how good that smells. This bag, she poked the top of the bag. You can actually see here, we taped it up a little bit. Just fills the car, with that. I mean, amazing. I wish this was smell-o-vision because every time I squeeze this bag, I get of it, man. Oh yeah, fresh coffee, man. Fresh coffee, bullfit. So I'm driving home, and like I said, the car is just filled with the smell. We get home, I gotta try this. So like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there hammering a pot of coffee, and this stuff is good, man. I'm telling you. So needless to say, don't drink a pot of coffee at like 9 o'clock at night, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm still like thumbs on the phone. Oh my God. And of course, my internal alarm, 5:30, bink, wake up. Doesn't matter when I go to sleep, 5:30, sometime in there, I am up. But yeah, let me tell you something. I was amazed. I'd never tried Pete's before. Pete's and Starbucks came along about the same time. There's a great backstory to it. I love the letter, by the way. I did. But you guys know, I've told you before, I'm not a huge dark roast fan. I'm not, but this is freaking amazing. Let me take that back. I like dark roast when it's done right. But most people, like the major suppliers, you know me, I'm frugal. I'm frugal. I will treat myself every once in a while. I will. But for the most part, like my daily driver is Dunkin'. Dunkin' makes coffee by the metric ton. When they do dark roast, and dark roast used to be more expensive for a reason. It takes time. You know, it's kind of like when you caramelized onions. Caramelized onions are like 10 times sweeter than the onions that went in the pan. You know, there's just magic that happens to a coffee bean when you roast it, and when you roast it right. But these major suppliers, they don't want to take the time. And that's how you get dark roast. That's why it used to be so much more expensive, is because it just takes time. Because all that magic happens in the beans, the caramelization, chemical changes. But when you do it quick and cheap, you're basically just scorching beans. And that's what a lot of dark roasts that you get will have, that sour charcoal bitterness. It's bitter and sour because they rushed it. This is not that way. It's a dark roast, but it is really, really, really smooth. There's like almost no bitterness to it. I mean, this is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. Oh, and by the way, I want you to keep an eye on the website next week. Y'all funded it. It is going up. We're going to go after the most contested congressional races. We're going to put the candidates up and links to their fundraising, links to their websites, volunteer pages. VoteEnoughIsEnough.com is going high gear next week. But yeah, I just wanted to start the show by saying thank you. There's going to be a lot of thank yous during the show. But let's get back to the convention. I got a couple clips for you from Kamala Harris's speech. And like I said, nailed it. Her team, being president is about being the leader of a team. It is. And her team killed it. I mean, style points are huge in campaigns. We don't like to be, pointing out how people look and this, that, and the other, but it is a huge part of a campaign. It is. Where the flags are, how the flags are draped, the background colors, everything are all taken into consideration when you give a speech like this. The suit. Oh my God, the suit. They will agonize over that for weeks to pick the perfect suit. Nailed it. Kamala Harris looked presidential. She sounded presidential. More importantly, the delivery and the context of what she had to say. Absolutely. She became the president of the United States right there on stage, right in front of us. E.T., my brother, take a power nap after the show. No kidding, right? No kidding. Oh, man, I tell you. Thank you again, Tara and Josh. Amazing gift. And I love it. Folks, you can get that Pete's coffee. You can order it online. It's not, surprisingly, for as good as it is, It's about 20% more than my Duncan daily driver. It's really not that expensive. I was surprised. But anyway. Oh, man, I tell you, that's good. I hope your coffee's hitting as good as mine this morning. But here's Kamala Harris. Just a couple snippets from her speech. Just look how well she delivers here.
Forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, they are out of their minds. And one must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women.
Yeah. Her entire speech hit like that. I mean, she just nailed it. I mean, it was fantastic. Got another quick clip for you. And please forgive me. Might be a bit of a long show. I've got a lot to show you today. But yeah, this was really good.
I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself. And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. I will not cozy up to
Killed it. And Kirk, I love your comment. The DNC came out with bulldozers and absolutely buried the RNC and MAGA. Diaper Don is on the verge of a heart attack. Yeah, that's where we're going with this, guys. I want to draw a comparison between what you saw at the DNC, what you're seeing from the Democrats, and what is happening in Trump world. And just side of this is. We've got to enjoy the moment. We really do. We talked about this before, about how masterfully the Harris campaign has been controlling the narrative, controlling the clock. We talked about how the announcement, the selection of Tim Walz, everything has been timed out. Now we've had 4 days of. Did I tell you? Did I tell you, or did I tell you that coming out of the convention, we were going to be fired up. We were going to be super, super motivated. Great timing. They are just burying Donald Trump. Watch what happens next. You're going to see some big policy moves. You're going to see some announcements that are they're going to grab the camera, hold on to it. The Harris campaign, I have to tell you, 40 years, 4 decades, I have been in politics. When I was a kid, my dad and I, we would watch these things together. It was one of the things that we did together. And that was the best acceptance speech I have ever seen. If you didn't get a chance to see it, totally worth it to go back, watch it on YouTube, watch it on I believe there's on Twitter. You can actually get a full version there, but YouTube has the full. It's very worth watching. Literally the best acceptance speech I have ever seen, and I've seen a couple of good, really good acceptance speeches. Kim says, my first DNC watching all 4 days, best damn energy ever. Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. And thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And I have to laugh. There are, they're winning when you have stuff like this going on. Young guys are in full freak out. You know, one of the things that's gone viral? Maya Harris. Maya Harris has gone viral because young guys figured out that Maya Harris is 57 years old and a grandma, and it is blowing their minds. It is blowing their minds. You talk about some good genetics. This woman is 57 years old. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened to me, but good Lord, talk about some good genetics. And the young guys are absolutely, this is going viral everywhere. Yeah, exactly. She's got, yeah, you know, I mean, just, she's got a daughter. She's now a grandmother at 57 years old and looks amazing. Just looks amazing. The genetics in that family, God bless them. God bless them. But yeah, that's how you know you're winning. I don't mean to be superficial with something like that, but that's how you know you're winning. When you have all of these narratives taking off on their own that aren't coming out of the campaign, nobody's pushing this. This is just people reacting, doing their own thing positively about your movement, your campaign. You know you're winning. You know you're winning. And you cannot draw a better comparison than what's going on the other side. Brace yourself. I got a couple clips here of Trump talking on Fox. Just the Schadenfreude, man. Just the pain that Fox is going through right now, because they've got to have this garbage. This is their guy. This is they're trying to get elected.
She didn't talk about fracking. She didn't talk about crime. She didn't talk about 70% of our people are living in poverty. She didn't talk about housing, really. The trade deficit. She didn't talk about child trafficking that she's allowed to happen because she was the border czar and she presided over the weakest border in the history of our country. It's an invasion. I was there today, as you know, Brett. It's an invasion of our country taking place at our border, our southern border. It's a total invasion.
Look at their
and
faces.
Now it's starting at our northern border also, through Canada.
Yeah. First of all, 70. Yeah, I love you folks for nailing it. I love you folks for nailing it. Several of you have already hit this. Before I even said a word about it, yeah, 70% of our country's living in poverty. I mean, how freaking out of touch can you be? I mean, how freaking out of touch can you be? You know, we are literally and I'm sorry to our European and international audience. This is just a matter of math. We are a large country, 320 plus million people, and we are the wealthiest nation on earth, period. That's just a matter of math. I don't mean to be a braggart or anything like that, but it just is. And no, 70% of America is not living in poverty. Not even close. Oh my God, not even close. But God, the looks on their faces, and he didn't stop there. You can see his fragile ego just being crushed, just crushed. Listen to it in his voice here.
Let me ask you this, sir. There's been a huge appeal and momentum for women voters. She's trying to pull the youth vote, the Hispanic vote, the black vote back in her direction. Polls show that she's having some success in that at this point. So what are you going to do? What's your strategy to rebuild the momentum that you had with those voters?
No, she's not having success. I'm having success. I'm doing great with the Hispanic voters. I'm doing great with black men. I'm doing great with women because women want safety. They want safety. And they don't have safety when they have somebody allowing 20 million people into our country, many of them very dangerous people. No, it's only in your eyes that they have that, Martha. We're doing very well in the polls. We're leading in most of the polls.
Yeah, pissed off he got at her for even saying that. In your eyes, in your eyes. None of that was true. Okay, none of that is true. All of the polls, we're within 5 points in Texas, folks. The battleground states, don't you dare take your foot off the gas. Don't you dare take your foot off the gas. And I'm going to give you some motivation later on in the show to make sure that you do not take your foot off the gas. But yeah, no. We're killing them in the battlegrounds. We're within 5 points in Texas. Florida is in play. Over the next 75 days, we're going to turn Texas blue. We're not giving up, folks. We're not. But can you hear it in his voice? He is crushed. And, he tried to get some attention. Nobody paid attention to it. This is a real photo, folks. This is not doctored. This is a Getty image. And I want to take a second too to like I said, I'm going to thank some people today. Let me share this. Aaron Rupar shared this. Folks, I am going to take a giant dump on Threads. One, because I freaking love Threads. I do. When I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling for my own personal, I go to Threads. I do. But their interface sucks and they're lazy. They're lazy. It sucks because they're lazy. Meta is lazy. They want Instagram and Threads and all of it to where they can intermesh and share videos, yada, 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 with as little work as possible. So they're not doing what you need to do on Threads. So yeah, I'm still using Twitter. I won't call it X. I'm still using Twitter. You can actually make Twitter decent for you if you follow decent people. And this is where I'm going with this. Aaron Rupar, one of the people that I follow. I'm a one-man operation here. Imagine what it would take for me to sit there and download everything that we're going to talk about today, then come up with the individual little snippets just to have it ready for the show today. I couldn't possibly do it. But Aaron Rupar, that's what he does. So if you want to get into the highlights of anything, follow Aaron Rupar on Twitter. Acine is another one. And thank you. They're some of the people that make this show great because of the hard work they do and what they share on social media. Absolutely fantastic. And this picture is from Olivia Turan at Getty. This is a real image of Donald Trump untouched. Let me blow it up. Here, I'll get you a full screen of it. 100% full screen. I want you to take a look at this. He thought it'd be a great idea to go to the border in August. Yeah. Don't do that. People that live on the border don't do this in August. Look at the makeup melting off his face. Look at his rumpled suit. He just looks. And you hear him talk. His brains, he's got pudding brains. He's literally out there melting. And it's hilarious to see. It is hilarious to see. He got out there and whined and moaned because, why aren't y'all all excited about what I planned for this election? For Christ's sake, his response to her acceptance speech last night was he was putting out on his failed social media platform, Truth Social, screaming about where's Hunter Biden. He cannot, he's gone mentally. He's gone mentally. They had him trained as to what he was supposed to say. And he's got his few talking points and he's got those in his head, and he cannot adjust to the fact that Joe Biden's not the candidate. All those attacks you planned, all of that is in the garbage. But that's what he was trained to do. He cannot mentally change gears. He just can't. He can't. He is mentally at the point now where he just can't. And I got to tell you, I am absolutely loving the fact that reality is crushing the Republicans. And we've got to talk about what they're going to do. You know, he was down at the border whining about the border. Let me tell you about what's going on down at the border real quick. Again, this is Texas Tribune. Absolutely awesome paper. The Tribune and the Guardian are not subscription driven. They live off donations, so that if you're ever feeling like you want to support something, the Texas Tribune is fantastic. Again, thanking people today. They do amazing work. But yeah, there's a problem for old Greg Abbott. He hasn't been able to bus any migrants anywhere for a really long time because there are no migrants to bus for a couple reasons. One, it's August. Remember I told you they all they wanted to do was talk about the immigration numbers over and over and over again in December? Because, yeah, it's cool outside. If you're going to go walk through the desert, December is a good month to do it. August is not. The other thing is Joe Biden absolutely did what he could do. When they killed the border bill and we couldn't get a long-term solution in place to beef up our courts, our courts, to beef up our ports, to get everything to move smoother, Joe Biden just didn't sit there with his thumb up his butt. No, he went to work utilizing executive orders. Since we couldn't beef up the courts, he shut them down, essentially. He said, we're not going to do the asylum granting anymore. We're going to put a lid on that. We're going to crush it until we can do a long-term fix. After we beat Donald Trump, we'll go back and we'll fix everything. So between not being able to get asylum and the fact that it is scorching hot outside, their narrative has gone away. There just is no illegal border crossings. They're just not there. The only people running up and down the border are Donald Trump, Republican politicians, and Border Patrol. That's it. That's it. But yeah, things are really not going good for Donald Trump. This is unironic. This video I'm about to show you is unironic. This was meant to look this way. This is a product that they're selling. This commercial really runs on Newsmax. I'm going to give them a free commercial. But yeah, you're going to see what I mean here. This is a real product that they're really selling. Oh my God. Here we go. You ready?
From the 45th President of the United Ponds of America.
Let's make fishing great again, okay?
He's here, everyone's favorite fish, Trumpy Trout.
No one has ever seen a fish like me.
Trumpy Trout is an animatronic talking fish with a big personality.
I am the hugely bigliest fish in the pond.
Watch his fins flap and his large mouth move as he makes speech after speech in high-fidelity sound.
Some bass are bad fish, crazy fish, criminal fish, and druggy fish. But some bass are good fish, and I only love some of them.
Mount him to your wall or use the built-in stand to display him proudly on your desk. Now you'll never miss a Trumpy Trout rally.
I'm building a new pond, and the bass will pay for it.
I'm not even kidding. This is like twice that long. I'm not going to do the whole thing. That's real. That's not satire. That's not somebody making fun of them. They're really selling. Oh my God. Oh my God. Honest to God, go if you want to waste your life, go watch Newsmax. They're really running that commercial. Oh my God. Matthew Preble says, can the Supreme Court dash our dreams? No, not if you vote. That's the game plan, folks. Yeah, they're really cheating. I'll put a pause on the show there to address that. That was a great question, great comment. They're really planning to cheat. They really are. They've really put people in place to cheat, to not accept the results of the election, to put legal challenges forward. Yeah, they're really going to try. Our strategy is really simple. Beat the living shit out of them. Beat them so badly, there's no question. And that is a real strategy, folks. It really works. If it's not close, there's no question. There just isn't. Folks, people are not going to just willingly give up their right to vote when democracy's functioning. So yeah, don't take your foot off the gas. Get to work. And we're going to talk more about that. We are going to talk more about that. Again, on the subject of, you are winning when things are going viral that you are not putting out of your campaign, that people are just organically, these things are coming up. This kid is now a hero. He is a celebrity. This went uber viral. This is just freaking hilarious. I mean, it is. It's hilarious. And pause for a second. Acine is another one. He works with Midas Touch, does the video editing and whatnot for Midas Touch. Another great follow on Twitter. Twitter doesn't have to be a hellscape. It doesn't have to be. They're going to put things forward, force things into your feed, but you can block most of it off, and there are good people to follow. Acine is another great. Aaron Rupar, Acine. Trust me, if you don't have a lot of time to waste and you want to get the highlights on something, Acine is fantastic. But here, watch the kid that walks up behind the guy on the right. This is just priceless.
Ted Cruz is probably one of the more, if you look at the scale of senators, probably one of the more unpopular senators. But Texas is still a red state. But here's what I would say. I do think that Colin Allred will bring it closer than other candidates have in the past. I think Ted Cruz is probably one of the more, if you look at the
I know you folks know what that phone said.
Probably one of the more unpopular senators. But Texas is still a red state. But here's what I would say. I do
Oh my God. You know what the phone says, right? Oh my God, that was priceless. That was priceless. I'm not going to say it. Y'all put it in chat. I'm not going to say it. But yeah, that's what the phone says. Valkyrie nailed it. Nailed it. Another good one. I didn't bring this video today. I loved it. They kept trying. Matt Walsh, Potato Head, My Pillow Guy. My Pillow Guy went so far as to try to, Matt Walsh and the My Pillow Guy tried to put on disguises. My Pillow Guy shaved off his mustache. But anyways, he got busted out and yes, got confronted. There's a young man who is, he's gotten involved in politics. He's informed. That is the beautiful part. It's not just some kid out parroting things. He's actually informed. And the My Pillow Guy runs into him. And I didn't play the clip because the My Pillow Guy goes off for like 2 minutes on a screed that it's like being ear raped. It really is. It's like being ear raped. But the kid nails him, and the line that he nails him with is absolutely, so your sources trust me, bro. I mean, it was fantastic, man. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what the phone said. You're winning when stuff like that. Thanks for the support, my guy. I really appreciate it. You allow me to do this full time, and I'm really grateful. I am really grateful. But yeah, that kid was so cool. He sat there and and my pillow guy's just, trying to get in this kid's face. And the kid's like, so your source is trust me, bro? Oh my God, he nailed it. That's how you know you're winning. Another one that's just taken off. You remember J.B. Pritzker's speech? J.B. Pritzker? J.B. Pritzker, if why would you know? Yeah, J.B. Pritzker is a billionaire several times over. He's worth about $4 billion. He's not like a Donald Trump billionaire that says, oh, my properties are worth actually 10 times what they're worth. So yeah, Forbes call me a billionaire. No, JB Pritzker actually owns companies that actually have products that you have seen, products that you have used before. When you travel, you like the rent-a-bike places, Bird. That's one of them. If you go to DC or New York or whatever, they're the electric bicycle rental places. His investment company invested in Bird and several other companies you've heard. I mean, you know these different companies. But yeah, he's a real legitimate billionaire several times over for making smart investments, and he's also the governor of Illinois. And it drives Trump up the wall because one of the lines that J.B. Pritzker uses whenever he hits national press is he points out the fact that Donald Trump is not a legitimate billionaire, and he knows because he is actually a billionaire and actually richer. So this has been just going crazy viral all over social media, and I love it. This was another interview that Pritzker did. It's just fantastic. And I know we got a lot of video clips today, but there's just a lot of really good stuff out there to cover.
Fun to give that speech. I mean, Donald Trump clearly, I get under his skin for some reason or another. And it's clear I've been doing that since I was running for governor in the first place. I started my campaign for governor. Every speech that I gave started with everything we care about is under siege by a racist, misogynist, homophobic, xenophobe. And that is what he still is. Strangely enough, I think that because I'm wealthy, I think when I say those things, it really bothers.
It bothers him more.
I don't know why, but I think it's because the guy's such a narcissist that he just he compares himself to everybody. And if he's wealthier than you, he thinks he's better than you are. And I guess since I'm wealthier than he is, he must think I'm better than he is.
Well, you're wealthier than me, Governor Pritzker. Good to see you.
It's fun to give that speech.
That drives Donald Trump up the frickin' wall. It does. Every time JB Pritzker gives a speech, Trump loses his mind on Truth Social. Just loses his mind. But yeah, there were some really great moments. These are some of the moments that I actually like. This was Adam Kinzinger making an appeal to Republicans. We'll talk about it on the other side.
How can a party claim to be conservative when it tarnishes the gifts that our forebears fought for? Men like my grandfather, who served in World War II, who believed in a cause bigger than himself, and he risked his life for it behind enemy lines. To preserve American democracy, his generation found the courage to face down armies. Listen, all we're asked to do is to summon the courage to stand up to one weak man. Some have questioned why I've taken the stand I have. The answer is really simple, ladies and gentlemen. We must put country first. And tonight, as a Republican speaking before you, I'm putting our country first. Because the fact is, I do belong here. I know.
You get the feel for it. You do. Kinzinger nailed it. I'm going to tell you, look, I've never hidden it. I've never made any other representation. I am a partisan Democrat. I am the founder of the Ride or Die Democrats. I am. I didn't ever go in with the Liz Cheney's and Adam Kinzinger's. They're Republicans, folks. They are Republicans. And that low bar of you don't want to destroy our country isn't much of a bar. It isn't. End of the day, when Donald Trump is gone and we run him out of town, Adam Kinzinger goes back to being a Republican and being bad for the country. So, yeah, but I will tell you this speech was worth watching. He made a great plea that is actually resonating with Republicans. It really is. There are a lot of Republicans out there that are going to vote for Harris. Don't you dare take your foot off the gas. Don't you dare take your foot off the gas. But it is looking like this election is going to be one of those rare landslide elections. It is looking really good. There are a lot of Republicans out there that are looking at Donald Trump and what he's trying to do, and they are 100% absolutely voting for Kamala Harris. Moving on. This speech by Ruben Gallego, I got to tell you, I'm emotional. I am. Y'all see me get angry. I choke up. I do. I'm a crier. I am a crier. There was one speech, Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords during Gabby Giffords' speech. I choked up and cried ugly at that one. I did. Just watching Mark Kelly, you can tell when you see people together. You can. You could see the look in his eyes. You know, he was the one that was working the pad for her because she still doesn't have the use of her right hand. He was operating the pad for her and you know, looking at her, you could see the pride in his face. Those two are really in love. They really are in love. I was. It was great to watch. Randy Oliver, can't wait for the debate. Thanks for all you do, Tex. I thank you, folks. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're a community. We do this all together, folks. We do this all, and I am grateful for you. I am truly grateful to have you around. But this is Ruben Gallego. This moment was so powerful. It just was. We are taking patriotism back. That word has been besmirched by people on the right for too long that don't know what patriotism is. This was so powerful.
Let me introduce you to some of the many Democrats who understand what service means, because we put country over politics. We were proud to wear the uniform, and we're proud serving our country in city halls, state capitals, the U.S. House, and the Senate. These veterans represent the best of our country. We stand united as veterans, Democrats, and patriots to fight for everyone who serves. But politicians like Donald Trump, they don't stand with us. They call patriots like Senator McCain losers. John McCain was an American hero. Show some respect.
That was a powerful moment when they all walked out. You know, those are all congressmen and senators, Democratic congressmen and senators that served. They didn't talk the talk, they walked the walk. And you can tell, I mean, the number of senators and congressmen we have, that is a disproportionate representation of our population. Democrats are just taking the word patriotism and giving it meaning again. It is really fantastic. And again, these are the kind of things that are taking off on their own without help, just taking off. That's how you know you're winning, folks. That's how you know you're winning. Rocky Balboa asked a great question earlier, and I've lost the comment. I was trying to find it, but I've lost the comment. But his comment was, why do you think Liz Cheney didn't show up to speak? That really disappointed me. That was his comment. That's why I'm warning you about these Republicans. They're Republicans. You know where Liz Cheney's at? She's back home trying to win her state for Republicans. She's fighting against us right now. So yeah, great that Adam Kinzinger was there. Good message. Glad to have it. At the end of the day, he's a Republican. That's it. That is it. Different teams. And when it's all over, if we don't destroy the Republican Party and make them come up with a new party in that void that we leave behind after we decimate the Republican Party, they are going back to being the Republicans that got paid, the ones that brought us here. Don't ever forget that, folks. Don't ever forget that. This wasn't yesterday, but again, it was one of my favorite moments from the DNC. Tim Walz, just this message right here was so powerful. And this is what's getting people to really look at voting for Kamala Harris that would not normally consider it.
That family down the road, they may not think like you do. They may not pray like you do. They may not love like you do, but they're your neighbors. And you look out for them, and they look out for you. Everybody belongs, and everybody has a responsibility to contribute. For me, it was serving in the Army National Guard. I joined up 2 days after my 17th birthday, and I proudly wore our nation's uniform for 24 years. My dad,
that sentiment is winning so many people over. That has legs. That really has legs. There are a lot of people, and I would just say this: if you are a Republican, you have labeled you're wearing the label, just like I wear the label Democrat proudly. If you are a Republican and you're looking at what's going on and you're realizing that your policies just aren't that different, I'm going to suggest to you that you're about to find out that you aren't a Republican, that you are actually a conservative Democrat. Because, yeah, in our party, that really happens. We have liberal people and very, very conservative people all within the same party, and we don't cancel each other. It's not like the Republican Party where you have to goose step to the message, bow down to the cult leader. That's not us. That is not us. That is not who we are. And that's what I suggest to you. Maybe you aren't a Republican after all. Brian Peaches, Texas Paul, I think we have found the missing lectern. Talking about what was going on in Arkansas. Yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I get it. That's funny. If you don't think this is resonating, this is not what CNN intended. You can tell they're very shocked by this, but it's fantastic. They had one of their groups. You've seen these groups before. They go out and find these people that are voting for Trump. They know they're voting for Trump, but they pretend to be independents. But everything they say is pro-Trump and anti-Democrat. Look what happens here. They didn't know how to respond to it.
About that. But what I want to ask all of you all together at this point, like I said, none of you were ready to make a commitment to any candidate in November. please raise your hand right now if you're now ready to make a commitment after today. Wow. I'm just kind of surprised by it. We haven't rehearsed this. I'm going to make that very clear. They will attest to this. 7 of you are now ready. Scott?
Yes, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Andy?
Yeah, Kamala Harris, yes.
Donna?
Yes, I'm voting for her also.
Sean? Sean?
Yes, Kamala.
Sabrina?
Kamala.
Patrick?
Kamala.
Brian?
Trump.
Trump. And finally, Lindsay.
Still probably not voting.
So probably you don't like either of them.
Nope.
Okay.
What led to you all making a decision? Was it that decisive of an evening, Scott?
Yeah, I really, as I said before, I really liked her confidence. She's really seemed.
Exactly. She really, her speech nailed it. She did exactly what she needed to do. She, right before your eyes, and again, if you haven't seen it, go watch that acceptance speech. One of the best I have ever seen. Transformed right before your eyes from candidate Kamala Harris to President Kamala Harris. And it was powerful. It was powerful. And CNN was really not prepared for that to happen. There are going to be attacks, folks. There are. They didn't give up. The right, they didn't give up. Now that the convention's over, they're going to blitz the media. And, you know, the corporate media, they want that money, man. They want that money. They're going to blitz the media. They're going to blitz social media with all the attacks that they possibly can. You need to be prepared for that. And I want to give you just a couple things to absolutely negate their arguments. We've already buried the invasion, the immigration argument. They killed the border bill for Trump. We all saw it on national television. They killed it for Trump. We've seen the new immigration numbers. Joe Biden just through executive orders, which are, you know, not long-term policy, but as soon as we defeat Trump, we're going to get the long-term policy. That was part of Kamala Harris's speech. She is going to re-up that border bill. Again, I call it out when I make mistakes. When they killed that border bill, one of the things that I said was, well, Republicans, you screwed the pooch because you will never get that deal again, ever. Kamala Harris has said, as written, she is going to pull that bill back up. She's going to have Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the new Speaker of the House, pull that bill up as written, and she's going to sign that bill into law. So, yeah, we've taken immigration off the table. They're going to repeat it like parrots, but it just doesn't have the impact, doesn't have the punch. There are a couple other arguments that they're going to make. One is about inflation. And I have to say this. The fact that we have not pressured Jon Stewart into running for office is political malpractice. It is political malpractice. There are plenty of wealthy people, plenty of successful people, plenty of people that have entertainment careers that enter into politics to serve. The fact that we have not pressured Jon Stewart into becoming a senator is political malpractice, and we need to fix that. We need to fix that because his ability, thanks for the support. I really appreciate you, Samita. I do. Thank you. $50 is a lot of cash, and I really appreciate it. By doing that, you let me do this full time, and I'm very grateful. But this is Jon Stewart's podcast. Again, go check out Jon Stewart's podcast. It is really good. This is a clip from it that they shared on social media. But he is so good at answering these questions off the top of his head. This isn't a scripted speech. This is what's in his mind. It is political malpractice that we have not absolutely drafted this man to become part of our leadership.
Is it inflation or is it corporate greed that's being allowed by using inflation as an excuse?
Yeah, and this is big right now. Both Trump and Harris have been putting out their plans for inflation.
Well, first of all, let's just say how the news media fumbles the bag in any conversation on inflation. Kamala Harris is instituting price controls. She said gouging, anti-gouging. Almost every state, including, by the way, Texas, the leader of free men everywhere, the liberty state where you go to be your own American, has a anti-gouging law. Everybody does, because there is an idea that in a crisis, when corporations jack up prices, that should be illegal. And everybody has that. So the idea that they don't understand this idea of creating or enforcing in the same way that you would want to enforce anti-monopolist laws, anti-gouging laws is somehow communist. Well, then Texas is communist. Texas is a communist state. If they don't allow oil and water producers to jack up energy and water prices in a crisis, that's not the American way. So all of those news organizations for being so ignorant of what's actually being talked about. It's so unbelievably annoying. Nobody thinks inflation isn't anything other than a very complex interplay between supply and demand and all kinds of other things. But there should be no question that corporations take advantage of opportunities to reset pricing in difficult times and are much faster to set the price here than they are to bring it back down when those pressures ease. And I'm so tired of the nonsense that somehow there's nothing we can do about that because that's capital. Capitalism is a wonderful system for generating wealth, but it has destructive collateral damage that everybody knows, and yet we act like doing anything about it in any way is somehow communism. This place.
Mic drop.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, mic drop. Mic drop. Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding response to the attacks on inflation. Get that, inject that into your veins. Understand, be prepared. That is your suit of armor. Knowledge is your suit of armor. It doesn't allow these attacks to be effective, and it allows you to effectively respond to them when your crazy uncle says stupid shit at Thanksgiving, which is about to happen, folks. We are about to enter our first Burr month. We're there, man. It is the good time of year. The weekly show with Jon Stewart, it's a good podcast. It really is. And again, I will say this. It is political malpractice that we Democrats have not recruited Jon Stewart to run for office. It is. People can be pressured to do that. They can. He would be a fantastic senator. He would. Blackhawk 2K, November 5th, Texas Paul will be dancing on his kitchen table. Amen. Amen. Kamala 47. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Amen. Amen. Here's another attack that's going on right now. They're trying, again, you always attack your opponent on their strengths. What are Kamala Harris's greatest strengths? Her resume. The fact that she was an outstanding and effective attorney general and prosecutor. So what are they trying to say? Oh, under Kamala Harris, California, if they only break into your business and steal less than $950, well, they don't even get prosecuted. They just it's a misdemeanor. California doesn't do it. Let me tell you something. Gavin Newsom is exceptional at this. This is your retort. This is your response.
The writing of how the prosecution for small crimes.
Oh, Prop 47.
47, I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is, by the way, the 10th toughest threshold in the United States of America, meaning you can.
Now, the reason Brett Baer asks him about this is really an attack. This is coming from Fox News. They run this all the time. This is really an attack on Kamala Harris. They're saying that this is a problem.
The writing of how the prosecution for small crimes.
Oh, Prop 47.
47, I'm sorry.
Yeah, which is, by the way, the 10th toughest threshold in the United States of America, meaning you can steal up to $950 of goods and it will be charged as a misdemeanor. You can steal $2,500 in the state of Texas. Why you're not focusing on those other 40 states is beyond me. 10th toughest felony threshold in the United States of America.
That
That's a
pitch
fact.
that she was a tough prosecutor in California is going to
You
stick.
remember her primary for president? She was attacked from the left for being too tough, for being prosecutor, for having a prosecutorial mindset. So look, I mean, all these things, this is all fair game. But at the end of the day, she's got a record of accomplishments as being part of the Biden-Harris administration. We've seen
Yeah, we Democrats have a deep bench, man. Gavin Newsom is exceptional at this. We have so many great people running as Democrats. It is just fantastic. It is fantastic. 100% just amazing. And I got to tell you, they've got Kid Rock. They've got Ted Nugent. Every 6 years, Pearl Jam puts on a concert in Missoula, Montana. Of all places. They're doing 4 dates this year in the United States. Missoula is one of them. Why? Because every time John Tester comes up for re-election, they do a concert to support John Tester and his re-election bid. I will take Pearl Jam over that crap they've got over there any freaking day. That's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know you're winning. When you got Pearl Jam rocking Missoula to support John Tester to get him reelected, you know damn well. Jeff Emmett and John Tester, the bassist for Pearl Jam, are friends. Yeah, this is actual pictures from Pearl Jam rocking Missoula. And look at this crowd, people. I mean, look at that crowd. Isn't that just amazing? There aren't a lot of people there. The fact that they drew that many young people in, that's how you win, folks. That's how you win. And we need, yes, absolutely. I love you people so much. We need Montana to hold the Senate. We do. We need John Tester. We really do. He's one of the people, he's one of the races that's going up on voteenoughisenough.com. He is one of the contested races. They're really going after him. Sherrod Brown. We're going to put also Brooks up. We're going to put in Maryland. We're going to put. We've got a list of about sitting. It won't be overwhelming. It won't be 25 different races. It'll be 6 to 10 races when we're done that are critically important. John Tester is one of them. I don't know about you folks. I'm feeling really good about the fact that we've got folks like Taylor Swift and Pearl Jam, and they're the joke that they are. That just makes me feel like things are really, really going our way. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Do not take your foot off the gas. Do not take your foot off the gas. Pink, that's right. Greg Edmond. Oh my God. Her performance last night was amazing. She had her daughter there. Her daughter has her powerful voice. It was great. It was fantastic. Beyonce, yes, absolutely. Beyonce. I'm really cool. And yes, the Dixie Chicks, they opened up the DNC. It was fantastic. It was amazing. It was really amazing. Natalie Maines and they have such powerful voices. It's incredible. But it was just fantastic. I feel like I don't know about you. I feel like we're winning and we have strong momentum. I do. but we cannot get complacent. You have to have already verified your registration. They are really cheating this year, folks, and they're doing it out in the open. They're not good people. They're really not good people. We're going to jump away from that for a second, and I want to do a quick update in what's going on in Ukraine. This is Zabrama, Bryansk, in the Bryansk Oblast in Ukraine. Just real quick, a side note, because there's something I want to finish up with that we're going to jump back to the DNC and the Democrats and the comparison between Democrats and Republicans. This is Zabrama. The Ukrainians are working to open up a new front. We've talked about the incursion into Kursk. They've done an amazing job. Syrski is an incredible general. He has been so incredibly smart. Let me show you in comparison to where the Kursk. This is Sudza. This is where they moved into Kursk. They did not overextend their lines. They took more territory in the last 2 weeks in Russia than Russia took in Ukraine in the last year. They are doing an amazing job. They just had a probing attack, like I said, in Zabrama, in the Bryansk Oblast here, to give you an idea where it is. There's Chernihiv, there's Kyiv. They are opening up a buffer zone, pushing the Russians back so that they cannot effectively strike at Kyiv. That is the whole point of this. Eventually, Ukraine will own all of this territory along this border. All of it. But we talked about it last week, how they'd cut off the highways heading west so that these troops couldn't be resupplied and reinforced. Oleksandr Syrski is just doing incredible work. So much so that even the corporate media is now having to start acknowledging what's going on there. You know, we just brought hostages home. Russia is working on taking more hostages. They've just opened up a case against another American journalist who now cannot go back. Works out of Ukraine, cannot go back. They were taking part in the coverage of the invasion of Kursk. They've issued warrants for their arrest. A couple Ukrainian journalists, an American journalist, a couple European journalists. If those people are caught flying through Russia or anywhere near or caught on Russian territory, they will be arrested and held as hostages again. That is what Russia is doing. And the corporate media is finally starting to have to pay attention to what Russia has become. They're a mafia state. And even Al Jazeera is acknowledging the fact that Russia doesn't have the manpower to fight this war. They just don't. The front is too long. It is too large. The Ukrainians are able to manipulate the situation, control the situation. And right now, Putin is facing an incredibly, deeply unpopular war where people are more and more speaking out. And it may take another year. It may take another 2 years. But this is going to be the end of Putin. He is a dead man walking. He is. They are going to end him over this. And it is all falling apart right now. Because the whole narrative that they were pushing ended when Oleksandr Syrski invaded Russia. That changed everything. And it's not going away. They didn't foolishly push farther into land that they couldn't hold. No, they pushed in, they drew back, and they've dug in. That territory they've taken in Kursk, you might as well say is Ukraine, because they own it and they're not giving it back. I want to let's jump back to the politics for a second. I want to leave you with this. I've been hem-hawing back and forth about which one of these videos to show you first. Donald Trump is going to hold an awards gala for people that participated in the January 6th insurrection and coup and tried to steal our country. You heard me right. You heard me right. He's going to hold an awards gala. This has gone viral on the right. This video, this is a thing. This is not something that is, it's just people are talking about. This is an actual produced thing. Take a look.
They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough. I call them hostages. Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Never been people treated more horrifically than J6 hostages. All they were doing is protesting a rigged election. That's what they were doing. Setup that was. What a horrible, horrible thing. There has never been a group of people treated so harshly or unfairly, and it will be my great honor to pardon the peaceful January 6th protesters.
Okay. That's them. And yes, this is going to backfire badly. Because I want to play you what you're going to be seeing this from now until Election Day. This is very powerful, and I do apologize. It elicits emotions, but this is what I want to leave you with. You cannot take your foot off the gas. Think about them, and they're wanting to give out awards for this.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
It does look like we're going to have an ad hoc march stepping off here. There's a crowd surge heading east.
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
We're going to give riot warnings to this apparatus here. We're going to give riot warnings. We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised. They're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
Hold the order! Hold the order! Hold
the order! We have a breach of the Capitol. Breach of the Capitol to the upper level. Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence! Bring out
Get all the
us we're going to get too many people. Look at the Spanish boys. We're trying to hold the alphabet. We're trying to hold the alphabet down. We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels. We need to move down. Copy. If we lose any more time, we may lose the ability to leave. So if we're going to leave, we need to do it now. We lost the line. We lost the line. All LPD, pull back. All LPD, pull back into the alphabet. Headshot.
H208 with 4 members. The door's barricaded. There's people flooded the hallways outside. We have no way out.
Officers still remaining on the House floor, so we can secure the members on the other side. Copy. Get them up! Get them up! Get them
And if I win, I will be looking very, very strongly about pardons. And I mean full pardons with an apology to many, an apology. They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
And they're going to give out awards for that. You're going to be seeing that and videos like it from now until Election Day. Show that to your crazy ass uncle and brother-in-law and all the people. Very powerful. Yes, absolutely. Very powerful. There's part I want to back up to. Be patient, please. I know that was a long video and I'm not going to play the whole thing over again, but there is part that I want to back up to and just draw your attention to something really important. Let me try to find the exact. There we go. While this was going on, while the violence is happening, while these officers are fighting for their lives, while they're being pepper sprayed and beaten, and the White House has been briefed on this. The president was sitting in his dining room off the Oval Office watching all of this. He was being briefed on all of this. This is what Trump said. What this person you hear reading out loud is not his personal sentiment. It's not what he believes. This is what Donald Trump said in the middle of this.
My kids didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution.
That was his message to the crowd. So yeah, you cannot take your foot off the gas. I don't care how good this looks. I don't care what any poll says. You cannot take your foot off the gas. Not an inch. 75 days, people. 75 days. You should have already checked your voter registration. We're going to put a link on our website, voteenoughisenough.com to vote.org is going to be one of the links at the very top. That is you're going to be able to just check online your voter registration, but don't rely on online checks. Check in person. Go to your registrar. It's worth it. It's worth it. Get it done so that you can help someone else. My granddaughter just turned 18. I'm taking her down. I'm getting her registered to vote. She's going to vote this election. I'm getting as many people as possible. I'll help anybody that I can to get registered and to vote. You have to keep your foot on the gas because these people think that was great. I love you folks. That's what I have for you today. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.